Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And you joined me this morning on what I would call was a very lackluster St. Dennis's final hurrah in comparison to the one that we had just a few days ago with the gunfire. We had hardly anything. And as you can hear, my voice is now taking another big hit over the last few hours in reference to last night. Last night was absolutely mega in Magdalena's. We were really, really busy. The people were well behaved, I've got to be honest. We're managing to keep control. And as a consequence, the voice has suffered a bit this morning. But once again, can I just thank the couple that got engaged for coming in last night and saying thank you. I greatly appreciated that. They said thank you for giving us a mention. I've forgotten your names. Was it Connor and Natalia, I think it was, who came and spoke to me last night. But anyway, thank you for that. And Teresa Ann Huggett as well, mummy of Connor as well. Thank you for coming in again and saying hello. Again, thank you. And also the other people that come in as well and said thank you for the broadcast. They really appreciated the broadcast. And another person, Alec Campbell, got in touch and said through your broadcast I decided whether I was going to take a family holiday with my daughters or not here to Zakynthos. So once again, thank you for that. And I don't realise sometimes the influence that that is created by these broadcasts as well, as to people making plans for their holidays, etc., or plans about coming to Zakynthos, etc. But again, thank you for that. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to go inside and do the podcast from inside so that I don't feel like I'm shouting at the moment, because obviously the voice is obviously playing up again, I'm afraid. So there'll be no singing from me tonight. Not that there was any singing from me last night, to be quite honest. I basically spoke the lyrics of Sweet Caroline at the beginning of the night. Right, okay, let's have a look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours. Once again, just to remind you, temperature today, thank you to the lovely Amanda who's looking in at the moment. The temperature today, 32 degrees, will feel like 36. Just remember, we're still at Cat 4 fire prevention, so please be very careful when you go out and about and make sure that you don't inadvertently cause any fires. Right, I'm not going to look at the airport at the moment because Jane is down there this morning and she's going to be down there for quite a while at the moment. But anyway, I'm just going to go quickly through our COVID numbers. COVID numbers are as follows. We had 4,608 infections across the country yesterday. Today the number is 3,273. That brings a grand total now since it all started to 566,812. New cases identified into the country at the moment are 24. And according to the national stats of islands of interest, as I like to call them, Mykonos had 35 new cases, which was up from 18 on the previous day. Rhodes had 93 new cases, which was down on the 121 of the day before. Lefkada had 33 new cases, and they had 33 new cases the day before. Corfu, our cousins up the road, they had 53 new infections, which was down on the 68 on the day before that. Kefalonia, they had 16 new infections, which was up on the day before, where they had 10. And as for Zakynthos, we had 27 new cases reported here across the island, and that number has dropped to 14 new cases today. So again, our numbers have been up and down, to be quite honest, within the last few days. So again, we're going to see how that bears out in our epidemiology. At the moment now, Zakynthos has had 1,100 positive cases since the beginning of the year. And this month alone, for the month of August, we've had 333 cases When you consider last month, July, we had 272, which was our largest case amount for that month. And so August, we outstripped that by a lot. So again, we still got a few days of August still left to go. Right, when it comes to deaths here in Greece, yesterday I'd reported to you 32 new deaths across the country. Well, today it's 42 new deaths, so deaths have crept up, bringing the death toll now to 13,509. The average age of those people, 79 years of age, and 96.4% of those people had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, our condolences to those people who are affected, whose family members have passed away. When it comes to critical cases, I'm afraid those are still on the rise. Yesterday was 326. Now it is 332, 194 male and 138 female. So today's news then, which to be honest is all Zakynthos news today. I've not looked at any of the national news, only at the Zakynthos news. I'm going for testing this morning down into the town, and there's been an article published about testing here on the island, and it seems that they're doing more than 200 rapid tests a day are being carried out at the Zakynthos Health Centre every day, which is the free test centre which is in town, and that's where I go. Now, since this unit is downstairs in the old ECA building, and lately the attendance, they said, has been very high, and they said on one hand it's due to the obligation by many categories of employees like myself who have to submit a rapid test once a week. In my case, I have to submit a test twice a week because I am not vaccinated, and also because there's people who go there for a negative test, which is a prerequisite if they want to travel from the island and go on the ferries or go on the buses to go wherever they want to off the island. Anyway, the nurses at the unit, after taking the test, informed that the platform performance is positive, and they just want to ensure citizens that everything is running smoothly in that location. They also reminded people that once they are tested, that they must obviously enter their result of their test onto their Taxis net codes, and that's something that I have to do as well, where once I'm tested and I'm negative, or whether I were to be tested positive, I would then have to enter that onto my Taxis net, which is basically your income tax return, to show that you have complied and followed. And I've got a feeling that by the winter that's going to become very important, especially for those people like myself who are unvaccinated, that you have done all your testing and you are not setting yourself up for being not allowed your ECA because you haven't done your testing when you're supposed to. So again, just a little point to note. Anyway, among the dozens of tests that are done daily at the unit, there are also positives ones. In fact, it presents the image of the island, they say. And at the moment, just to remind people that rapid tests are done daily free of charge at the unit in Zakynthos from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, with the exception of a Saturday where there are no tests, but also on Sunday when tests are done in the morning from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So for all those employees and those people who have an AMCA number, not the general public can go and use this, only Greek citizens, Greek residents, and those people with an AMCA number can go and use that facility down in the town, and it is free of charge. How long it's going to stay free of charge, we shall wait and see, especially with the pressure on the unvaccinated to get vaccinated. Excuse me. There was a meeting this week by the governor of the Ionian Islands concerning 5 major cutting-edge projects which they say are going to change the image of Zakynthos. Now, the operation of the municipality theatre that has remained closed and the replacement of asbestos pipes in the water pipeline network, also the restoration of the building of the cultural centre, which is where the cinema is housed and the library is housed, and also the cleanliness of the city, i.e. the cleaning, the tidying and the rubbish removal, and the renovation of the beach of Kamiri are part of this regeneration program that they say is going to change, the image of Zakynthos. And the meeting was held with the regional governor, Rodi Karaskas Kalapulo. She was here basically for the celebrations of St. Denis's, and while she was here, she had been meeting with the mayor of Zakynthos, Mr. Ariakis, to discuss the way ahead and also regional projects of which they are responsible for, and the municipality are also jointly responsible for. Anyway, the regional governor, as I said, was here on the occasion of the festive events for the patron saint of St. Denis. And now, during her presence, she had the opportunity, obviously, to speak with the mayor on these pending projects and issues regards the municipal theatre in particular. And according to Hermes News, Ms. Caracas stressed to the mayor the need for no further delay in the operation of the municipal theatre. And to be honest, the municipal theatre has been a project that has been very, very slow in coming to fruition. I arrived here in 2005 on my very first season. They were just starting to build and put the foundations in for the municipal theatre back in 2005. And now, 2021? You do the maths as to how many years that was. The building is kind of finished, but not completely finished. And that is one of the reasons why there's been problems again with the opening of the municipal theatre, and they were discussed between the regional governor and also the mayor of Zakynthos as well. Mr. Ariakis provided further information to her about the long-suffering problems of the theatre since September. Steps were taken for the restoration of the area surrounding the municipal area. You may have noticed that that area had been cleaned up. There had been issue with the drains, etc. But there'd also been issues with equipment within the building that obviously had to be installed, and tenders that were supposed to be submitted for the installation of obviously sound and light equipment, etc. And that unnecessary equipment obviously had to be purchased. But that has been a very big obstacle for the municipality, as because not only is it about the equipment that has to go into the theatre, but also the technical staff that would be required to be employed by the municipal theatre, obviously for the upkeep, the running of it, and just basically the people that will be able to run the equipment for when whatever wants to come in and actually put on a production within the theatre. So anyway, and also they said that the equipment that's been in mind, the technological advances of that equipment means that finding the people with the relevant qualifications could prove to be difficult at the moment. Anyway, speaking about the meeting, the mayor and the regional governor particularly stood in discussion about the cleanliness and beautification of the city, but also the issue of the cultural centre as well, and the renovation of the beach of Klamimi, which they stated planning should be finally processed so that it would be a single plan and not a fragmented plan of a little bit being done here, a little bit being done over there, but a complete master plan so that the regentrification, the rebeautification of the area of that beach. And for those people who are wondering where I'm talking about, we're talking about the location from where the top of the town is, where the harbour wall runs, as you go along past what was the municipality beach, and along that location further up, going on the coastal road as if you're going to head towards Sillavi. That whole area is called Coroni, and that is an area that is very popular with the local people from town as their kind of beach area to go to. And a gentrification and a regeneration of that location is of importance to the regional governor for that to be done, because also money has already been promised and has been given, and obviously they want to make sure that the money is spent in a properly coordinated rather than in a haphazardly coordinated program. Anyway, for the cultural centre, he noted that additional needs are being studied for the inclusion of the replacement of basically of the building. You might remember there's been issues as regards to contracts with the cinema, as to contracts that were issued by previous administrations, and also changes to the outside and the repair of the building as well, which again they want to try and put it back to the way that the building was when it was first built, without all the added frontage of businesses within that area. So again, that has been an important discussion. And also as well, that the fact that there's a €10 million finance project of the replacing of asbestos pipes as well within the water network. And that is still an ongoing project at the moment for the municipality to obviously get the water network get the asbestos piping out and get proper modern piping in, so obviously that the water is safer obviously in town. So again, interestingly as well, not only were they discussing these 5 major projects for the island, but they were also discussing the fact that the president of Greece, she is going to be coming to the island as well. So they were also discussing about the plans and the operations for this official visit by the Greek president coming to Zakynthos. Now she's got a planned visit of her arriving here because she's going to be accepting an honorary degree from the University of the Ionian, and she's getting a degree for environmental issues, and they're looking at her visit to the island, and I thought there was a date there for her visit, but at the moment, no, I can't see a date at the moment. But anyway, she's coming basically to go and visit Strani Hill, because that's a very important place within the symbolism of the new Greek Republic, and obviously part of the 200 years celebration of the Greek Revolution. It's also the location where Solomos, the poet of Zakynthos, wrote his famous lyrics, the Ode to Freedom, by listening to the gunfire that was going on over in Kalini. And the area on Strani Hill is obviously of a significance for these celebrations for the 200 years. And it seems that the president of Greece is going to be coming for that. So again, there was discussions about the visit. But at the moment, I have no date as to when she is likely to come here to the island. And those dates will probably be announced at a later stage. Now, also today, the local press has been announcing the numbers of arrivals to the island, not via the airport this time, but via the ports here in Zakynthos. The number of passengers and cars that travel to the island for the first fortnight of August looks like they've been much better than last year's in the terms of forecast for tourism. Now, according to the preliminary data that's been sent out, for the period from the 1st till the 15th of August, passengers from Zakynthos to Kalini, who were basically travelling out of the island, they said there was 40,000 passengers, 10,000 cars, and about 1,300 buses and trucks that actually went out of the island between those dates. But interestingly, in that same period, there was 52,000 passengers, 14 thousand cars, 1,400 cars and buses and 1,350 trucks that travelled from Kyllini to Zakynthos. Now, the executives of the ferry company estimate that this year the increase compared to last year was up by about 10%. However, there was a decrease, they said, in bus travel from both Greece and from the Balkan countries, which reflected the decline of the most massive part of tourism. Now, a lot of people from Serbia, Romania, they don't really fly into Zakynthos. They mainly come and organise bus tours. We have buses that come down from Thessaloniki, because Thessaloniki is like the gateway to the Balkans. And normally we'd get a lot of Serbians, etc., at this time of year. But to be honest, we haven't seen much of that at all this year. And that is where this extra amount of people have been lost as well. And finally, they said, for the days of the celebration of the patron saint, the representatives of the company noted that there was no special movement was observed on that line. In fact, due to the cancellation of the litany and the pandemic, so things had remained very much the same. People had come, they'd stayed, and even though they cancelled certain parts of the St. Denis's celebrations, it didn't sort of make people want to leave any earlier. So again, at the end of the day, as far as the port is concerned, things have actually had been better than expected, and there was at least a 10% increase in traffic here to the island during the first 14 days of August. Now, another little bit of local news, appointments by the Ministry of Education. It seems that Zakynthos is going to get 51 teachers, new teachers who are going to get jobs in the gymnasiums and the lyceums. Now, there is a total of 140 permanent teachers appointed by the Ministry of Education into schools on Zakynthos. And this development raises expectations for a new school year that will start without any gaps, loss of teaching hours, and which has unfortunately obviously been going on in the last couple of years with the pandemic. Anyway, nationwide across the country, 1,521 teachers were permanently appointed to vacant positions in primary and secondary education schools, according to the announcement. And one thing I just want to make a little bit clear for people who might not understand, if you're a teacher in Greece, you are not normally employed in somewhere where you may live. So teachers are a bit like gypsies in some way. They're travellers, all right? They come over, they will do the school year, they will do the school semester, and then once that semester is finished, they then leave and they go back to where they come from in Greece. So it's very rare that teachers stay in the location where they teach. Again, it's the Greek system of we send teachers where we need them, we house them, they stay in temporary accommodation, they work the school season, and when the school season is finished, they then go back to wherever they come from, maybe to return back here next year, or maybe to go to another place. And this is a little bit of an issue at the moment for the continuity of education, in the fact that teachers can change quite a bit. And again, it's something you'd think that they would try and address, that they try and keep teachers in the same location, in the same place every year. Some teachers do stay, don't get me wrong, and are happy to relocate and stay permanently in wherever it is that, wherever they're put. But there are those that kind of travel and, oh, I didn't like it there this year, I'd rather go there there next year, sort of thing. So again, it's interesting just the way that the system is set up. Anyway, nationwide, there 1,521 teachers were permanently appointed to vacant positions in primary and secondary schools. They are saying now that the first spell of the year, i.e. when the kids are back to school, is probably going to ring round about September the 13th. Now, already Primary and Secondary Education Directorate of Zakynthos, they're already preparing for the reopening of schools here on the island, and they hope that this year is going to run smoothly without any new problems due to the pandemic. So there you go. That's the news for today. I'm just going to have a quick look at, see who's just looking in. Quick shout out to Steve Hinkling. Nice to see you there. Maurice Hudson says, morning, DJ Ginge from Blackpool. How's the weather in Blackpool? Are you going to have a good bank holiday weekend up there? I think you're going to have an awesome bank holiday weekend up there. Dennis Patrick Carroll is watching from in Cyprus. Nice to have you tuning in. Cheryl McGee is also tuning in from... where is it? Manchester. Nice to see you. Shane Bowen says, Gallimera Ginge, looks like you had another great night. So happy to see it going well. Yeah, I am. I just wish my voice would kind of keep up with what's going on at the moment. But my voice at the moment, as you can hear, is pretty fragged. Paul Armstrong is also watching as well. Maria Hallberg as well says good morning from Sweden. David Douglas says good morning from a dull Fife. Oh, bless. It's certainly not dull here, that's for sure. Wendy Wycliffe is looking in as well. Amanda Gregory and Raina Pete Dillon is watching as well. So once again, thank you to all those people that are tuned in. Can I just say again, I'm still having issues loading up the news onto YouTube. I managed to load up another day's broadcast to YouTube. I'm trying desperately to catch up. I went into town yesterday to upload that news, but the internet at the moment is just very shockingly slow, and I'm trying to catch up. So at the moment, if you want the news straight away, you're going to have to come to my Facebook page, and slowly but surely I will try and get up the previous broadcast. I think I'm up to, Wednesday. Maybe, I think off the top of my head, the 23rd has gone up onto YouTube for you to have a look at. But anyway, thank you for the support of the YouTube channel. Thank you for the support of the podcast here on Facebook. And once again, I'll keep my ear to the ground. And if I hear of anything, I'll make sure that I let you know. And once again, you have a great day and I'll speak to you again soon. Ta-ra.